Well, yeah, Jeffrey Muhammad, also known as Jeffrey Chavis, is my son-in-law, and I don't know how that goes, but anyway, Jeff is involved in an organization that's trying to establish, and I don't know will the community be all Black or not, but they are trying to establish a community. And this is what we are asking him to talk about. Tell us, how did the idea come to you, and what are the steps that you had to take, and how close are you to getting that community started? Okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, um, in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, bear witness there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Um,
salam.
it basically, it started, I started seeing a lot of things while being out on the road as a truck driver. Um, but I would say the beginning of this started back when there was a community of us, um, as far as believers in the Nation of Islam, about, I would say around 20 some odd years ago, about 23 years ago. And the way that we reacted amongst each other and dealing with each other, it was just a peaceful thing when you were counting on your own and not depending on anyone else to um, help you with things. So as the time went on, I started seeing really white communities doing these things. I started going through communities in Pennsylvania where everyone was doing everything together. I started seeing Asian communities doing these things. I started seeing, we all see Latino, Mexican communities doing these things, but I never really saw us doing these things, doing everything together where we can depend on our brothers and sisters while we are not able. But I would always see these things while I was out on the road with other communities. So one thing I wanted to do was start first with our community within the Nation of Islam to get it up and running. And then from that point, we're going to reach out to all of our communities, amongst our Black communities in organizations, whether it be the Black Panther Party, whether it be churches, mosques, synagogues, and so forth. But first, we starting it with a few of us in the Nation of Islam. Right now, we have about 1,000 people in our group, and we're doing it in a way that we have started a corporation to where we're not only going to be doing forming our own community, but we are going to be doing business with each other. We're going to be forming grocery markets, restaurants, agricultural business. Right now we have started our security company, in which we are just about done with it. So we don't have to worry about being policed by anyone else but ourselves. So right now we're at the stage of what we're doing as far as is a shareholders agreement, in which each one that are involved, we become a share in the company that will be doing all of this. So in that, each one will receive a lot of land to build them a home on the land that we're going to be owning. So pretty much that's where we at. Like I said, we have about 1,000 people in the group, And inshallah, we'll have everyone sign the shareholders agreement and we'll move on from there.
Okay, I wanted to ask a couple questions because it sounds really interesting to me. And you kind of mentioned a board. So you said you'll have a board. Does that mean, um, I guess like will it be like a city? So you'll have a board of directors, you'll have the city board, you'll have the mayor. How will it be? How will your structure of your community be?
Well, it will be structured something similar to that, but eventually we want it to become like city-like, you know, well, especially when we get all of our people involved. You know, we want it to be, because I was talking to another brother, and out here in Atlanta, there is a piece of land. I think it was something like 500 acres. And that right there is enough to build your own city. And I also seen a city that was actually formed from something similar to that. And that's, you may know it, Sandy Springs, Georgia. I watched it as it became an actual city, but it started out as a township. And I've seen a lot of, I did some of my little homework in New Jersey and Pennsylvania while I was out there trucking, that that's where a lot of cities were formed there, by becoming first townships. We're first starting off as little communities and then townships, and then eventually became cities. So we're going to have a little minor structure, something similar to that. It won't be actually like a mayor, but it'll be a person that'll be sitting in the position as a mayor, as you know, and other community workers. So we will be getting that, especially when we get all of our people involved. So.
Okay, Sister Cleo, did you have a question?
Well, when you mentioned getting all the people involved, Jeff, at what point would all the people be involved? Is it that you have to build this foundation first on making sure you dot all the I's and cross all the T's, that all the basic work is done, then the people get involved? And what would be the first thing that the people would have to do to get involved at that point?
Well, right now, like I said, we're like building a foundation to receive our people. Now we have to remember we're dealing with Black people, and under spooky, you know how we are. So we want everyone to come into a structure in which everything will be sane. I'll put it like that. But when everyone come in, we're not just going after individuals. We're first going after organizations, to where everything will be disciplined. So like we're going to go after the Black Panther Party. We're going to go after other groups like this, and we're going to go after churches. We're going to go after, like I said, mosques, synagogues, and things of that sort. So when they come in, the people, they will bring their people along, and we can start it off from there. And then from that point, if an individual wants to come in, they can come in, because they'll be coming into a solid structure, not just anything that's loose to where they can just run wild. You know, we want to come into our communities and we want to sit around and smoke, drink, do all those things out. No, it won't be none of that in our communities. Everything will be structured right, so every one of us can live at peace and not be sitting up there scared of our neighbors.
So you're saying that first, all of these organizations would have to come together, and
Yes,
you would all
ma'am.
have to agree on what the structure would be.
That's right. Yes, ma'am.
And sometimes I'm just thinking that, you know, I'm just trying to figure out how you could do this. I mean, you could maintain your structure, the group as a whole could say, this is our structure. How do you determine if there's anything in that structure that would not be legal? For instance, how could you determine that this community would be only for Black people?
Well, after the point of what we will be doing here on the first project is that it won't be, but the thing is, it will be structured so to where if there are any other races or anything like that, that we can't come in and damage the structure. Because we just, there's nothing spooky or anything like that. Everything that we have done as a people have always been destroyed by others. We know this. So we're going to build a structure from amongst us that won't allow anyone to come in to destroy it. So that's what we will be doing first.
Okay. So in other words, you have to, for instance, if you said, I mean, you could not, well, you could. I'm thinking of the Quakers and how they are structured. So I've been told they're structured so that only Quakers can live in their community. But that's
Right.
because of their religion. But you're not saying that your community would be comprised of only one religion. Is that right?
That's right. That's right.
So it's
The
not
first
based on
project,
religion.
the first project will be, and it is designed. The main purpose of this is designed to show all of our people that this can be done, because we know that there are going to be a lot of doubters that we think the way we think is that, if white people are not involved, then it's not going to be successful. If it's just
Yeah.
Black people, it's going to be destroyed. It's going to be some blah 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 that's going to because in other words, we don't know what we're doing. You see, that's the way we think. So we're going to try to remove all of those thoughts before we actually go out amongst our people and show that it can be done and we can live at peace with each other. So we're going to show this first. And then when we go out, they're going to see it. It's not just we're going to be asking, they're going to actually physically see it being done.
Now they could see that by looking at Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, where that dream came true. It was true, but of course it was destroyed later by white people.
Right.
But the dream actually worked. Black people had their own community, their
Right.
own rules and regulations, and it worked, and they were prosperous. So
Very prosperous.
the thing that killed them was white people.
Right.
So I'm just curious as to, it seems like if you have a community and it's known to be prosperous and it's also known to be all Black, is there a reason to fear being attacked because you're so visible?
No, ma'am. See, that's the main thing that we when we think of Tulsa, we don't think of the success that came from it. We don't think about that. The main thing that what we think about Tulsa is how it was destroyed. When Tulsa, the name Tulsa and Black people come up, we think about the destruction, the violence that came from it. We don't think about all of the success. So that right there shows that it can be done. But first thing that we have done before any of this has happened, we formed a security company. Now, this security company that we formed is not going to be the average security company. This security company is our own military in which we are forming. Everybody will be trained militarily in this company. So when you see us, you'll know, oh, those brothers are serious. Those brothers and sisters are serious. And that's the way we're doing it, because eventually this will become our own police force, in which it will be designed to serve and protect. It won't be just something that's a slogan. We will be doing that, actually serving and protecting our own community, in which we've seen, like we've seen in the situation in Dallas when the mosque there was threatened to be attacked, and they thought it was just going to be us, but it was our whole community that came together, and they actually ran off those that were trying to do harm to the mosque there. You see, if that's the way we have to think, we don't need to be fearful of them doing anything to us, because right now, in reality, they are fearful of us. And when we show strength like that, I guarantee that nothing will come about. If we're showing the world righteousness, and we're showing them that we are not fearful of them, and we are militarily ready for any kind of attack, guaranteed that Tulsa will never happen again. Guaranteed.
I have
Unless America just want to be seen as that villain. That's the way they would be seen if they came out against a group like ourselves, in which we're trying to form.
Okay,
Mhm.
so one of the things that I did want to comment on was the Tulsa thing. Tulsa was a great success and is still a great success, but my question is, and I believe in lessons learned. So to me, the lesson learned from Tulsa was Tulsa had a quasi security group. They had somebody that was appointed sheriff and stuff. The problem was they didn't have enough. They probably didn't have proper training. They probably never expected anybody. And one of the bigger things that happened in Tulsa was when stuff started to burn, they refused to allow the Tulsa Police Department into Greenwood. And so that's how everything was allowed to burn. So I think, in building infrastructure, you got to understand that, you do have to have your security, but you do have to have some kind of fire department, so you do have to have control of stuff like that, because if they could have put out the fire, maybe it would not have been, as bad. But again, once those fires started, and like I said, they weren't allowed to put them out, that's pretty much, a wrap right there. And then when you drop bombs on already burning fire, you got a wrap.
Exactly.
So, those things are concerned to be considered. But speaking about the security force, how do you have, because usually everything needs an oversight. And so even like our police departments, they have oversight. They have boundaries that they can't step outside of. How do we establish boundaries for the security force? And what does that mean when you set up the town? You're not going to have people hanging out. You're not going to have people, walking around in drunken states. Does that mean a dry county? Does that mean martial law? What does that mean? And maybe you haven't got that far in the thought process, but I'm just putting out a thought.
But we have those right now that have got that far in our thought process.
Mhm.
But it will basically, like I've seen Sandy Springs. Before Sandy Springs even became a city, when they were just a township, they had already formed their police. They already had their police force, and they had everything. They had the fire department and everything already there. So when it actually became a city, it became actually official. I forgot the wording that they used on their vehicles, but it wasn't the city of Sandy Springs. I forgot the actual wording, but it was a wording that shows that they were still up under Atlanta's police, but they were their own, and Atlanta police let them police their own community. So there's a process there. We have brothers and sisters that know the process to go through, but there's a process that you can. If you notice, just like if you go into, I remember being a security guard on a like in an apartment complex, upscale apartment complex, in which we were in charge of policing that that little apartment complex.
Mhm.
And if anything that was as far as the law of the city was anybody went against that, then that's when the police were involved. But first they would have to check in with us, and then they were allowed to enter into the community. So
Okay.
there's a process that you have to go through, and we're willing to go through that process so we
Mhm.
can have our own and be policed by our own.
Mhm.
So
That sounds
if, say
good.
for instance, if a person disobeys the law, we will first deal with them, and then we will turn them over to the city officials. So,
Mhm.
but all in all, we will be the first responders to our own community. So there won't be any so-called accidents that
Yes,
happen with our people.
yes, okay, good. Mr. Cleo, you have another question?
Um, so what what kind of criteria are you planning for people who want to join the committee? You said first you're going to contact the organizations, different organizations,
Right.
and then is there a process that just an individual would have to do to join? An individual who's not a member of any organization,
Well,
just a Black person that wants to live in the community.
well, that's what we're leading up to. Unfortunately, it has to be done this way because we are so disorganized as a people that something like that it would just be doomed for destruction if we just did it that way. But so we want to be supremely organized in doing this, so our people can come in and immediately be at peace with each other. So when we actually go after different organizations, then we're going to sit down at a table and structure these things to where our people can actually come in individually and be a part of this. So it's a process, but it has to be done. If we don't want to go through the process, then it would never be done. We would still be sitting
Mhm.
back talking about this and that and complaining about how we are treated when all we have to do is organize and treat ourselves right, and we don't have to worry about anybody else treating us a certain way.
So right now, at what point do you think you are?
Right now, we're at the point we're getting ready to start. Well, we're actually looking for a piece of land right now for the first project, and God willing, we will be by the beginning of next year. We would have already started on the agricultural part. Now, this part right here, we're actually going to start um, growing our own food, and we're going to have cattle, sheep, and things of that sort already going on. So we can start, and then we're going to start a what is called a CSA program, in which anybody can be involved in that, to where they can start receiving wholesome groceries every month. Yeah, it's going to be like you pay a monthly fee, and then you will start receiving groceries every month. So we're going to get started with that. But the other process, you got to go through zoning and all of this stuff, and it can take just a little while. So we're hoping, by the grace of God, that we're going to be um, actually starting building our own communities by sometime next year. We get the county commission, blah 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 blah, to be in agreement and come on, because with this project, it's not just a commercial zoning and not just agricultural zoning. We have all of these things that we are doing, so we got to go through different departments in the government to actually get the right paperwork done. So it's going to be a little process,
Hmm.
but we God willing, like I said, we hope to be actually starting on it by next year.
So,
So, how are, I mean, have you gotten as far as knowing, how the people would actually, would they purchase the land? Would they rent a spot, or how funding, how the project is going to be funded?
Basically, it's going to be funded by the people, and
So,
we're going to go through other things as far as grants, and like we got a brother who specializes in getting grants for as far as farming,
mm-hmm,
and we're going to start with that. And each one of us, as a shareholder in this first project, we're going to be given a certain amount, in which it won't necessarily be funded uh, all at once, but each one of us will be have access to the bank account to where they can deposit, and they'll be depositing whether it be weekly, monthly, and so forth. But we also are doing we're going to be doing fundraisers in which we've already have like a few entertainers and other people that will be attending to help us with these projects. So, like I said, first we're going to start with this one, and then we are actually going to be, once all of our people start getting involved, we want to make it a major project. I'm talking about huge project. We're going to be reaching out to every one of those of us who are, who can help in a big way. But any one of us,
mm-hmm.
we want to reach out to each and every one of us to help with these projects, as we're going to have it professionally done, as far as architects and things of that sort that's going to be presenting it to us. So it will gain the interest of all of our people, God willing. But so,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, to answer your question, the funding will be done by us.
mhm,
Us, for us, by us.
mhm.
Okay. Okay. Are we, I was just thinking about the schools for the community. Uh, I mean, right now, I know you're in the planning stage, but does does your plan include a school on, on site per se, your own school? Or are you thinking more in terms of purchasing land, where the kids in the area would have to go to a nearby public school?
Well,
Or have you gotten that far to even talk about that?
yes, ma'am. We're going to have our own schools. We're going to have our own hospital. We're going to have everything. We're striving to be completely self-sufficient, completely self-sufficient. And that means everything that you can
Mm-hmm.
think of, we've talked about, and we've organized and putting these things together. We have people, and that's the beauty. And that's one thing I tell everyone. I said, you think that you went to school to gain these skills to work for them. I said, but God allowed you to gain these skills so that one day we can put all of these skills together to work for ourselves. And that's why in the beginning stages, we had everyone fill out what we call a skills bank form. And this is you are putting down all of your skills that you have and all of your interests that you want to be involved in. So there are a lot of people that wants to do agriculture. We have a sister and a couple other people that actually know how to go into soil and purify it. You see, so we have nurses that want to be involved. We actually have, if you know Dr. Keeley out of Houston, His wife is involved, and she has guaranteed us that he will be involved as well. So we will have our own doctors, our own nurses, our own midwives, so forth. We have teachers that teach at a professional level that are involved. So yes, ma'am, we will have our own school, God willing. That is the plan.
So Jeff, 5 years from now, where do you see this whole project being? What do you see have been set up, established, in the works?
5 years from now, I see us actually going out looking for land for the whole of our people. See, we're not just going to be doing this in an individual place. This is something that we're going to be doing all over our nation. We even have people in Jamaica that are with us. We have people that are in Belize right now that are with us. And we also have people over in Africa that are waiting, actually sitting waiting. You got a group of people in the Nation of Islam from London that have actually right now went over and bought 2,000 acres of land in Africa. And me and brother, we have planned, and we hooked up, and he's waiting for us to get ourselves structured. And we're actually going to be going over there looking for land as well. We have a sister who's in the real estate over there, and she's ready to move out on some land for us over there to do the same thing. So this is going to be done all over. It's just the fact that the main point of it is our unity. We never tried that. We never tried our unity. We have everything that we need. I remember the Minister Farrakhan said, he was saying basically the same thing. And he said, right now, he said, we even got a president. And he was talking about Barack Obama. But we just have to all come together to utilize all of these skills that we have. We're able to do it, but we just don't know because we're so busy trying to work and maintain our own lifestyle. But if we did put all these things together, we would have everything that we need. We are the ones that put this country together, whether we know it or not. We're the ones that put this together. They didn't know what they were doing until they came to us to build for them. So we got to have that belief now, or if not, we're just going to keep continually being abused by every nation on the planet until we actually do something for ourselves. And we're being abused all over the world because we refuse to do something for ourselves.
As we keep trying to assimilate.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I had a structure model question. So basically, if you think about it, going back to Greenwood and North Carolina and all these different cities and towns where we've had Black communities before. So I guess, is there like a structure model or something that we're kind of, I want to say modeling ourselves after, or a blueprint would be a better word. Is there a blueprint? Because there's nothing new under the sun. So is there a blueprint that we're following to get this done? And how do we know when we're on track with the plan? Notice I say a we.
Right. Well, the thing is, like I just stated, we actually built this country here. This is one of the, if it had righteousness to guide it, this would be one of the best blueprints to actually follow. So if we follow everything but their what's the word? But their
evil intent.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. If we follow everything but that, then this is the perfect blueprint to follow. See, but we're going to add what we just stated, our righteousness. So they will be the perfect blueprint. See, for others to follow. I remember in the Bible, when Egypt was actually not Egypt, I'm sorry. when the children of Israel got their own and they started building their own, then their success became the blueprint for every other nation. And that's what we want to do. We want to become the blueprint, but we can start out by following the blueprint that we already built. This is ours in reality. This is what we built. And if I remember a book my son had, and it was his history book, and he hold on, I'm trying to reach for my charger, I'm sorry. He had a book and it was talking about how America was structured, and this structure was basically built off of Egypt's structure. And the reality that we really know of is that Egypt is ours. Everything that was going on in Egypt, that is the way they were designed. Even if you look at, it was talked about the mall down in DC. It talked about how certain things, the Washington Monument, it was designed after the pyramids. Everything about it was designed just like Egypt. So that again, I said that this is the structure that we built. And this right here will be our blueprint that we can actually go after, excluding what you saw, the evil intent.
Right.
And adding in our righteousness.
We don't want that. Sister Cleo, do you have any additional questions?
No, I don't think I do. Well, yeah, I do have one. Are you working with any other group who's planning to do the same thing that you're planning to do?
Right
Do
now,
you
we just
have any
working.
contact where you share information?
Right now, we've talked to a few people. And like I said, they're waiting for us to get this first structure done. And then they are actually waiting for us. We've talked to a lot of Black farmers. And when I'm telling you, it was so sad and listening to a lot of our Black farmers, and they're actually lost. I'm gonna say it just like that. They're actually lost because of the evil things that are being done to them. We don't even know the half of it, of the things that are being done to our Black farmers. That's why we never see any of our products in grocery stores or anything like that. We always see theirs because of the things that are being done. I mean, they are suffering, and now they're trying to take away the money that they promised. They promised them, because the simple fact that our Black farmers are not united together to go after all of these things, to do all of these things. We don't need to put our products in their grocery stores. We just need to go in our communities and build our own grocery stores. And we would allow our Black farmers to put the wholesome food in our own stores, to where we won't have to be suffering from all the diseases and things of that sort that we're suffering from. I'm gonna share this right here. This came from one of our sisters. Me and her was talking, and I was talking about the famine that's going to be coming. Yes, there's a famine that's going to be coming. And she was quiet as I was talking, and then once I was done, she said, "Brother, what famine that is to be coming?" She said, "The famine is already here." She said it just like this. She said, "You think that's real food that you're eating?" And I was like, whoa, and it's real. If we depended on real food, there would be a complete shortage for all of us. Yes, you go around and you look at us, instead of our sisters and brothers learning how to cook, we're dependent on places like McDonald's, Taco Bell, I mean, this is an everyday thing. I did a little DoorDash, and the majority of the people that I brought food to every day was us. It was us.
Mhm.
And that's the food that we're dependent on, which is not real food. I don't know when the last time McDonald's had real food in there, but that's what we're dependent on.
But that's why now we need a
So,
vaccine for
brother,
everything,
Right,
because we're
right.
not real people because we're not eating real food.
Exactly. Exactly.
well, yeah, that's right.
We're walking
Uh,
around like
J-
zombies.
Right? Mhm.
so that brings up another question, Jeff, into whether or not in your proposed community would you have fast food restaurants?
Say that one more time. I apologize.
Okay,
Mhm.
in the community we're talking about, the one that you're proposing, would you have fast food restaurants?
No, ma'am. We're not um like that. Not like a McDonald's or places like that. We will have our own wholesome food. Now, how fast? It won't be like that, and that should be a concern right there when we're talking about fast food. If any one of us ever did any cooking, we know that food is really not fast when it's prepared right.
So
So
you mean you wouldn't allow corporations to come in? And I mean like McDonald's, Burger King,
right,
all that kind of, they wouldn't
because
allow.
of the in our
Mhm. Right,
in
right, right.
our own personal, when I'm
Community.
with the first project, there will not be. But
Mhm.
like I said, we want it to be an example. But if
Mhm.
when we all come together, and if others see that they will, we everybody will bring forth their argument on it. So if it comes as far as the whole that they want us Taco Bell or whatever, um, then that would be something that we would think about then. But as far as our righteousness goes and our righteous eating, no.
Mhm.
So, but that would have to be brought up by the whole.
Mhm.
This is not going to be my project. This is not going to be yours. It's going to be all of ours together. And like I said, once we go after the all of our people or the organizations,
Mhm.
then we will all sit down at a table together and structureize all of these things.
Okay. So I mentioned water. I mean, I mentioned fire, but what I didn't mention in a firehouse, I didn't mention is water and the water source for this community. What would the water source be and how would it be? I don't even know if it needs to be secured, but how would it be secured?
We have people right now that are we have our own energy department,
Mhm.
and the people there, they know how to actually structureize a well. Everything will be coming from our own well, in which we will be producing our own water from the earth. Just like you go into each individual city, they have their own structure in which they receive. I mean, they don't own the God.
Mhm. Mhm.
They don't own the God.
Mhm.
The God is willing to help those who help themselves. So he has given us this earth. The earth is full of water, soil that we need to do anything with. And we have people that know how to actually get this water from the earth and not have to depend on them. We have in the same department, as far as if anything was considered about sanitation, we have people that know how to structureize this as well. So everything that we need, everything, and I mean everything that we need, we have it within ourselves. We just don't know it because we don't have it structured yet.
Mhm.
And that's what we want to do, and show everyone that everything that we need, you know what I'm saying, we have it within ourselves.
Okay. Okay, so Sister Cleo, if you don't have another question, I'm gonna ask Jeff the wrap-up question.
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay, so Jeff, I need you to do two things for me. So right now you need organizations to come in and join for phase one. And you need people, or you'll be needing people and maybe individuals coming in for phase two. So what do you need to know? You're talking to people. How do you get the phase one people to come to you, to want to join, to want to be part? And how do you get the individuals waiting in the wings to want to come? What do you say to them?
Well, what I would say is, I would tell them about our situation here and what we're going through right now. Certain members of us, we're actually living good. We're actually living good. But when we go to the whole of our people and really just go through and look at our condition, God didn't make this earth for us to be living the way that we're living, suffering the way that we're suffering. When all we have to do, if we see the concern, if we see the condition, those of us that are doing well, if we see this and we call ourselves to be godly people, then we have to do something to help. Not give $1, not give any money, but just pull all of our resources together in unity. Pull all of our resources. You have a skill, I have a skill, she has a skill, he has a skill. If we pull all of these things together, then we will be able to do everything, not just some things, but everything that will solve the problems of our people. Everything. There will be so many jobs for those who don't have a certain skill, but they will be able to work and earn and make a decent living on their own land. They will be able to do this. But when we are going and trying to get things from a people that have shown that they hate us, they not just dislike or just uncomfortable around us, but they actually hate us, then we're doomed to be suffering like the way we're suffering. We're doomed. So all we have to do is come together, and we can start that off by you and I in this organization or that organization coming together, actually putting forth, not just talking about it like we've been doing. We have talked enough for all of these years. Now it's time for us to do. Let's sit here, let's structure a plan to actually do these things for our people. And then once that structure is set, then those who are not involved in an organization but want to be a part can actually come on in and be a part of this to do something for ourselves.
Is there a way for people to contact you or to join, or what would they need to do?
They can actually call me at 678-684-9104, or they can email me at president at Supreme Investors Land, supremeinvestorsland.com. That's president at supremeinvestorsland.com. The website is just about done. I would say within the next 2 weeks, the website will be up. We're just actually going through the testing phase, because through this phase right here, you will actually be able to leave your investment or contribution. So, but we actually want it to be secure. We got certain companies that have we're using to secure this. You know, so like I said, it's going to be about another couple of weeks. We're just going through the testing phase right now for the website.
What was that website again? President at Supreme Investors
Land, Supreme Investors
Land.com.
Yes, ma'am.
He's going to text it
That's
to
the
me so I can
email.
put it.
Yeah, I'll text.
Yeah, and then that way I can put it when we post this. I can put the link in there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be, put the link and your number in there so people can reach out.
Okay. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
All right, Brother
ma'am.
Jeff, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it. And I'm
And
looking
please give
forward.
my brother the greetings.
I will.
That's
He's
right.
out walking.
Oh, he's walking?
He's
Good,
walking.
good. I just got done working on myself, even though you said I don't look like it.
No, I mean, you didn't look all, sweaty, wetty and stuff like
I
that.
wiped all the sweat
Yeah,
off. and
yeah,
everything.
okay, okay. So you look good, yeah.
Thank
All
you,
right,
thank you,
good
sister.
seeing you.
Good seeing you too. And I saw you over there, Michelle.
She left. I put her out. They were talking too much. Hey, you gotta
So
go.
Jeff, we're gonna put this video out and hopefully, you'll get some feedback from it.
Mhm,
Let us know, because we need to know if it had any effect.
mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And then we're gonna
Thank
reach
you,
out to
thank
the
you.
other, hey, we're gonna reach out to, we're trying to reach out to there's some other groups that are trying to do the same thing. Just so if it's shared knowledge or if it's lessons learned or any kind of help or whatever, because we need more than one. Not
Right,
one
we're
thing.
going
But
exactly.
if if each
Exactly.
one can teach one, it's all good.
That's it. And when
Okay.
we all come together, it's going to be something massive that's going to be
Yes, sir.
seen all over the world.
And it's
I mean,
time.
Yes,
It's
that's
time.
it. Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
All
And
right,
the
thank
thing
you.
we have to keep in mind is we do have enough money.
Mhm.
And I know, our people even don't want to believe it, but we have enough money
Absolutely.
to do this.
Mhm.
Right. Right.
I read one article that said we have enough, we have so much money
Our
that if we
buying
were
power.
our own nation,
Mhm,
we would be like number 9 in the world.
mhm.
Ain't that something?
We have enough money to do it. We need courage.
There's strength
We
in
need
numbers, but they
courage and
gotta be
unity.
together. Mhm.
Got to be together.
That's the key right there.
So
That's the key.
thank you, Jeff. I really appreciate you participating in this today. It's
Mhm.
something needed.
Thank
Very
you.
much needed. We need to keep
Thank
pushing.
you.